The Lost Japanese Counter-Strike? Nah, we go in.
Counter-Strike is a tried and true game, having many official versions and countless sequels.
Which one's your
none
favorite?
of these are quite like Counter-Strike Neo, a version of Counter-Strike so obscure that it was practically erased from existence. Hidden away in Japanese arcades, built with Valve's blessing, featuring futuristic characters, brand new lore, and maps that don't exist anywhere else. A game that's now nothing more.
Chat. I know sometimes I jokingly say, I want one, I need this, aka when it's about a skin. I want one of those Counter-Strike arcade machines. Are you serious? If you have one, reach out to me.
More than a faint memory in Counter-Strike history, lost to time. In this video, I'm going to be covering the history of the game, what made it so special and unique, and what ultimately happened to it. So let's start from the beginning. The year was 2000. Bandai Namco, yes, that Bandai Namco, led by Tetsu Tsuchiya, wanted to replicate the success of Counter-Strike by bringing it to Japan. The only issue was, most of Japan didn't care much for competitive shooters like Counter-Strike, so Tetsu and his team devised a plan. What if, instead of hoping people would suddenly download Counter-Strike at internet cafes and learn it, they made a unique and catered version just for Japan at arcades, because people go to arcades to play video games. Tetsu also decided against creating a brand new title to compete with Counter-Strike.
Whoa. They had female agent skins way before us, huh?
Mainly because of budget constraints. Instead, he chose to work with Counter-Strike because of its already rising popularity at the time. In the meantime, Namco set up an arcade called Lead Zone in the heart of Tokyo, Japan. This store was meant to be the foreground of Namco's experimental titles, which didn't only include Counter-Strike. They were actually originally meant for more MMORPG type games, which is why they aren't your typical arcade machines. Instead, being a Linux-based computer with set peripherals that you couldn't change.
Wait. GeForce 4600. That's not that bad, or? What do I have? 4090. 4600?
They aren't your typical arcade machines. Instead, being a Linux-based computer with set peripherals that you couldn't change and had loud-ass speakers. But thankfully, you could plug in headphones if you asked the staff nicely.
Lord.
As time went on though, Namco really anchored onto the idea of Counter-Strike, which started their first rounds of production on the style and story of the game. Instead of the typical terrorists versus counter-terrorists, they decided to replace them with two new factions. The CT side is called Neo, and the T side is called CSF. The story for CS Neo is pretty interesting as well. Let me try to summarize it real fast. In this world, or more like the future, an evil corporation named Neo was trying to set up a space station to the moon to get resources from space much easier. However, this didn't end up working. Not because Neo messed something up, but instead a world-changing disaster that was an asteroid colliding with the moon. Unlucky. This asteroid completely destroyed the moon and sent debris from it straight down to Earth. The explosion and debris mainly affected areas near the Gulf of Mexico, but it also managed to shift the Earth's axis. While the rest of the world was in chaos, Neo saw an opportunity. That resource-rich asteroid could help aid their efforts at becoming a world superpower. And with the rest of the world struggling, it seemed even more possible. The resources from the asteroid helped Neo advance technology to crazy levels, which is why the Neo team in the game are so—
Dude, why does this this old Counter-Strike that nobody like played outside has this cool lore? Where's our lore? Where's the Counter-Strike 2 lore? Where's Agent Ava coming from? Dude, they have this, what is this lore? We don't have this.
futuristic looking. To combat Neo's monopoly and maintain—
laws, well, true. Jesus did do a video on the Counter-Strike lore. But it's like, it sounds like a lot of fantasy as well, no? Like just trying to connect dots. Or am I tripping?
In order in a drastically changed world, the few remaining countries organized their police forces and militaries to form the CSF. I don't know about you, but I wish normal Counter-Strike had a story this crazy. Once the character and stories were finalized, it was time to get permission from Valve themselves, and probably some of their help. After faxing back and forth for a while, Valve responded slowly and didn't exactly make things clear, so Tetsu and his team did the only thing they could. They packed their bags and flew all the way to Valve's headquarters in Seattle.
Wow.
When they explained their plans, Valve was surprisingly interested in helping, with none other than Gabe Newell himself signing the contract.
Wow.
Namco then got on to work on the—
Chat, you just gotta take action in life. Imagine they kept on talking via fax. We would have never had this Counter-Strike game. What does Counter-Strike 2 need that Valve may not be aware about, that they get faxes about right now? Anti-cheat. Maybe it's time that we move our ass and say that we need an anti-cheat instead of faxing it.
first iteration of the game, which was released in 2003. This first version was essentially a heavily modified Counter-Strike 1.6, and has since become completely lost to time, practically a piece of lost media. In fact, this video here shows the only known gameplay found of it, thanks to Marlonka who found it and has been a huge help in making this video. Thankfully, there's still some images of the game that were posted to the original, now defunct—
Lost media is so interesting to me. How does this happen? Because there were smartphones back in the day, right? Dude, if a thing that thousands of people played, all of a sudden you can't find a single fucking video about anymore. Dude. Just imagine how much lost media you're gonna have, like, with your fucking shit in fucking 10 years. Make sure to back shit up, bro. Photos and shit. Oh, man, you're the only one who has it.
Funked website. It really does look a lot more like CS 1.6 with vastly different character models compared to the second, more polished version. That second version was released in 2005, 2 years after the first. And this is where things get even more interesting. This version used Counter-Strike source models straight from Valve, using the source weapon models and graphics, even though it was still running on the Gold Source engine. More specifically, a
Whoa!
models and graphics, even though it was still running on the Gold Source.
The Gold Source engine? Oh, dude, imagine unboxing gold in CS with Gold Source engine.
More specifically, a heavily modified version of Counter-Strike Condition Zero. This puts the game in such a weird middle ground between Gold Source and Source that I can't help but point it out.
Source.
You go through missions that look like they're from Source, but the sound effects are straight out of Half-Life 1. As I mentioned before, the second version was much more polished, likely because Namco saw how successful the first experimental version was in 2003. But along with that polish came some changes. The more ambitious and
Is that Michael Jackson?
downright bizarre looking characters from the original version were swapped out for more boobalicious and basic ones, although it's still
Oh, she's literally called Mummy. Got the dogs out, got the milk out. Wow.
did have some really cool character designs. It was also around this time that Namco started releasing their Flash manga, Counter-Strike White Memories.
Shut up. We had a Counter-Strike manga? Is this a joke? Show. Newbie of CSF. Show is not so cheerful, but not so gloomy. Usually he talks with people as a normal person. However, he doesn't communicate with people deeply. In other words, he does not only take it closer to others, but also does not admit them too close to himself. He doesn't remember anything about before he became soldier. That's why he does not have a... Dude, we had Arcane before they had it. Looks like a
That's a whole
PowerPoint,
other
yeah.
topic for another video. Counter-Strike Neo at the time was becoming more and more successful, but why did it do so well? Well, you see, the main focus of the game was actually teaching people how to play Counter-Strike. It was super easy for someone to walk in for the first time, pay 300 yen for 20 minutes, and learn the pretty in-depth tutorials. You'd probably have someone next to you eager to help as well. Once you got used to the game and changed up your settings, you could also buy a player card that would save all of your information on it. So all you had to do next time was scan the card and you're in. This arcade system...
Yo, how do I get one of those? Oh my god. How much do you think something like this would be, Chad? If a running machine with Counter-Strike Japan on it with a card. Oh, dude, people don't even know that this exists. Over 13 euros? No.
for Counter-Strike worked so well that Neo was actually a lot of people's first FPS games ever played, and it definitely left an impact on Japanese gamers at the time. Okay, enough about the backstory for now. How about I show you just how different this game really was from the other Counter-Strikes we know and love. But first, I'd like to take this time to thank the sponsor for this video, Skins Monkey. Now, statistically, about 20% of
must resist.
you are hopefully still watching right now, so maybe this is meant for you. Are you tired of your same old loadout in Counter-Strike? Want to perhaps switch something up? Well, with Skins Monkey, it's insanely easy to do exactly that.
Chat, what do I do here? I feel rude skipping it, but I also own my own marketplace. Dude, I hate when it's CS Skins. Scheiße, we just gotta start sponsoring everyone.
Select the skins from your inventory to trade, and then select from the huge list of skins that are on Skins Monkey. There's a ton of filters you can sort by, including budget, to find that perfect item you've always been wanting. You can also claim a free $5 just by trading $100 worth of skins, or less if you're happy with a lower bonus, and using my link in the
Usually those sites ask for very much fee, that's all I'm gonna say, skimmer.com, scheiße.
Description or code GOLDEC. You can also get a 5% deposit bonus on top of an already 30% deposit bonus for an easy 35%. Thanks again to Skins Monkey for sponsoring this video. Now, let's get back to the gameplay. Aside from the main defuse mode we're so used to seeing, this game also came with a mission mode that was essentially 3 scenarios. One where you had to fight through a sea of pre-placed enemies and defuse a bomb, another where you had to plant a bomb, and another where you have to plant the bomb and defend it and also survive. That one was definitely the hardest one, but thankfully I did have Deslance's help. The times you get on these missions could also be compared to the rest of the arcade, the fastest times presumably being at the top of the board. Now how about the typical defuse mode? Well, not too surprisingly, version 2 had the exact weapon loadout from Counter-Strike Source. A very funny combination seeing these futuristic cyborg characters that even had bionic ponytails running around with a UMP or AWP. Feels like they should have some laser guns or something. Although going through the game files, we can see some references to other items that didn't make it into the game, like the
Lul. Goofy cookery knife. Law grenade.
Law, Flare, Gas Mask, Molotov, Shield, and an M60. Some of this could be placeholders from version 1 as well. The gameplay itself though was basically the same as other Counter-Strikes. No real notable changes to the weapons, the bomb, or even health and armor other than the pictures for them. Although the jumping was replaced with a crouch jump, which was most likely for the newbies. And yes, you could be hot, but that crouch jump did make it a bit harder. The second version I'm showing here also only had a defuse game mode. Well, sort of. There were actually event maps that would be hosted every—
Wait, I need to see this machine. So you have a monitor? No smoking, it says on the fucking thing. You have your mouse and keyboard. Lol, I've never seen an arcade machine with mouse and keyboard.
Also only had a defuse
Dude.
game mode. Well, sort of. There were actually event maps that would be hosted every once in a while for Neo, which are pretty hard to get some info on. But there is still one map in the game files called E17 that was the assassination game mode, so really the only map in the version 2 game that has a hostage per se. The first
Why
lost—
the fuck is the spacebar so small? Is it? What? Huh? What the fuck is that spacebar? Dude! Are they all scroll wheel jumping? No shot. Is this the Japanese layout?
17 that was the assassination.
It kinda makes sense because for their language, do they even use spacebar? That would make a lot of sense. Oh, I never thought about this. Wait, let me check. Yeah, lol. We're learning today. Look how small it is. It probably is because their language, they put all the words together and they don't use this, like they don't need a spacebar. You smell me? That's not average, chat. That's very tiny.
Game mode, so really the only map in the version 2 game that has a hostage per se. The first lost version of the game was the one that had a lot more of the actual
They use spacebar to scroll through kanji options. What does that mean? Chat, do they use spacebar in their language? Any Japan people in the chat? No space, all just connected. There we go. That's so cool.
underscore hostage maps, which is kind of sad to see that it was gone from the second version of the game. I think this hijacked boat map would have been really cool to see, having the Neo team spawn from a helicopter to save the hostage.
Oh, this is where I drop in Fortnite. The ship.
In my opinion, this has to be one of the most unique designed Counter-Strike games. With it being Japanese instead of the usual American-made Counter-Strike, they of course took their own creative liberties, especially when you compare it to the usual terrorist versus counter-terrorist games. There isn't any blood in the game.
Sorry for pausing so much, but this guy,
especially when you compare it
from the anime, no Piccolo,
to the usual terrorist versus counter-terrorist games. There isn't any blood in the game, anime characters running around, and I also found one of the developers' adorable cats in the game files as a placeholder. So this is definitely the cutest Counter-Strike. The maps though were probably the most uniquely designed aspect of the game. These were not your typical Dust 2 and Nuke maps. They were something completely different, and I'm not just talking about the aesthetics, even though I actually really like the look of them. There's this one map that you had to go into an ancient pyramid that has a bomb site that looks like this. I have no idea how to explain it, but it's just cool.
Oh my God,
definitely bring back a lot from the Frutiger Arrow era, which is a very interesting—
Am I crazy? Why does this look so appealing to me, this fucking game? Look at this. Dude, sometimes less is more.
It's just cool. And a lot of
I think it's nostalgia. I never played 1.6. But here, shooting some head, oh, I would play this right now more, like, would love to play this more than CS2 right now. Right now, of course, maybe after playing it for a bit, not, but oh, this looks very appealing to me.
Maps definitely bring back a lot from the Frutiger Arrow era, which is a very interesting style to see in a Counter-Strike game. You can tell the developers put a lot of time and effort into the tiny details on these maps, especially the fact that they would make whole event maps that they knew would be basically deleted after its time was up. Thankfully, a lot of these event maps are still sitting in the game files, and most of them are very peculiar. This one has vehicles on it where I think you race to the end of the map.
What?
This one is a KZ type map for New Year's.
Hey. DC2 Uno with a 5 safety. What's in the chat? Kuss, Habibi. Kuss, Habibi. Kuss you in the pussy, alright?
This one's Death Run, I think, and just so many more that I have no clue what they're for. I'm getting a bit carried away by the event maps though. The official map layouts is where the game really shines. They definitely weren't afraid of stepping out of the typical CS map design box, and I have to give them some credit. In fact, they actually designed each map to have a specific gimmick.
Hey! Foot Princess with the 10 zifted! Hey! Kuss, kuss.
Them. Downtown was this insanely vertical map that even let you jump across these signs, but they would damage you over time.
Hey! Yo, guys, let's finish the video, right? Some male cool words. Hot in the chat. Kussi on the yeah, hearts.
This map has this little grinder thing on B-side that will just kill you, although I don't know how useful this would really be. And a lot of maps just had these weird unconventional designs, like this giant sewer that you could swim through and traverse the map. There are just so many interesting things about these maps that I think would be really cool to see played out. Because of that reason, I think the game actually had a pretty decent pro scene, but it was definitely niche. Although it was popular enough to warrant its own events and name for it, the Clan Wars. This was the pro scene of Counter-Strike Neo, basically a giant LAN party, where most likely teams of friends would compete, or maybe teams of the best players in the town. I'm not really sure what the prizes were, but I know that the winners managed to get their own graffitis on the maps that they won on, which is pretty sick. Other than that, the winners might have gotten their own cosmetics. Oh yeah, cosmetics. This game made sure to have plenty of those. The cosmetics in this game...
Hey, yo. Bro, how did he play this game? He said it's hard to find footage. How? He said lost media. How the fuck is he playing it? It says Goldeck. Chat, we have to do, I'm telling you, this is one thing that I want to do. Counter-Strike week. And this is not going to be one of the fucking things that we just say we do, but we never do. Nah, we will do. Where we play every day a different Counter-Strike. You understand me? You hear me? 1.6, 1.7, 1.75. And so on.
Game only affected the actual player models instead of the gun skins like we're so used to seeing nowadays. You of course had to unlock all of them other than just a basic male and female player model that you start with, but there were some very interesting models in the files that I assume are maybe admin skins or just for some special people. The skins themselves would also change colors the higher your level got, which is very cool to me. You could also place accessories onto the player models you had, and most accessories had to be unlocked for missions or other events. Okay, I think that's enough about the gameplay. What actually ended up happening to the game? Sadly, as more and more people got their own personal computers and the arcade scene faded, Neo was destined to fade away with it. The game did manage to survive for a while thanks to a cult following, with friends meeting up at Lead Zone and other arcades to play it, which is why it actually took until November 30th, 2007 for the first Lead Zone store to close in Kyoto, Japan. A farewell message saying that it had completed its role as an experimental store. Then, the next store closed on April 23rd, 2008. This time, it was the final Lead Zone store to close, and sadly, it had been that very first one that I mentioned in the beginning that was in Tokyo, Japan. Lead Zone themselves being lost to time, completely shut down once that last store closed.
Ouch.
You would be hard pressed to find any information on Lead Zone nowadays that doesn't involve an internet archive. Thankfully, there were some other arcades other than Lead Zone that still hosted these Neo arcade machines. But finally, on February 1st, 2010, support for those machines would end as well, with the servers being taken offline, which pretty much
following content is affected. Clan status, yeah, everything.
Affected the entire game. The only way to still play the game is either offline on those limited and most likely long gone arcade machines, or using an emulator for a second version of the game that was actually leaked not too long ago. csneo.net has a decent tutorial for it. I made sure to search far and wide to see if anyone actually still has these machines in their possessions, but with most forums being completely in Japanese, it was very hard to search for it. Of course, I couldn't find it even after searching the depths of the internet, so I think it's safe to say that this game—
Oh my god. Chad, I don't know if I want to say it. I went on one of the biggest fucking detective work trying to find something that I want to buy recently during Burnout, bro. Should I say what it is? I don't know if I should. Maybe there's something out there now, one of you guys will buy it. But and then I got done so dirty. I love Yu-Gi-Oh, right? It's my childhood game. And I was this close to buying Katsuki Takahashi, the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh, rest in peace, a signed Shikiri, you call it. He did these at like 4 different events. It's a signature on it. And this one is one from San Diego Comic-Con, 2000 something crazy old. And this was on eBay. And I talked to the guy on eBay, and I was new to the scene. And there's tons of fakes of these. All right? So what did I do? I asked a guy who I can trust, hey, can you check if this one is real, if this one is legit? At the same time, I asked the eBay guy, yo, can you send me some more proof that it's actually real? He sent me San Diego Comic-Con, his email, his pass from the Comic-Con, some other cards, some souvenirs. It was legit deluxe. I went to bed. He didn't reply instantly. He replied next day. I went to bed, waited for a reply from my friend, waited for a reply from the guy on eBay. Next day, friend says, I asked some other guy, he said it's legit. I look at my email inbox. This guy replied on eBay as well with all the proof. It was legit. And then the item was sold. Dude. And then the item was sold. The guy, I asked the guy who I can 100% trust. The guy that I can 100% trust asked a guy who owns one of these. And the guy who owns one of these asked another guy, a guy from Japan, who owns multiple of these. That guy bought this. This was listed for 2,000 euros. It's worth like 4,000. But I found it randomly. Sometimes on eBay listings don't show up. That's why I didn't sell yet. Or it was listed for 3,000, something like this. And then, bro, I back and forth with the seller. Yo, the guy, it's a guy who I asked, let me buy it, let me offer some more. He said, okay, he canceled the purchase because his delivery wasn't fine or something. Made up reasons so he doesn't get banned on eBay. I said, I'll offer not double, but something way more. He said, sure. He canceled the purchase. He listed it. He said, I listed in 10 minutes. Be ready. I was ready. Me refreshing on my fucking phone. My mom was over at that time. This was during burnout. Refresh. I said, like, Mom, if I get this, I will be so fucking happy. If not, then GG. Then very sad. And then, boom. The thing pops up. Bought. We got it. I actually didn't get it, but my friend, my original guy who I asked for help, he got it. He bought it. He's from America. Because I couldn't check out the delivery, it didn't work. I didn't want him to relist. I just said, my friend, buy it. I'll pay you. I'll give you the money. You know? And then he said, I'll ship it tonight. He didn't ship it tonight. The Japanese guy didn't let go. And he got someone else who is very respected in the scene. I'm not gonna call him out, but I'm very disappointed, brother, in the Yu-Gi-Oh scene. And it's confirmed. One of the eBay guys who we talked to confirmed to us this is the person who actually bought it. The Japanese guy got a guy to help him, and he messaged the seller and said, hey, I'll offer 1,000 more again or something. And then the seller never talked to us again. He just fucking sold it to this guy. And then now the Japanese guy has it. I asked the guy who... I don't know if I can say it. The uncut sheet may or may not be involved, my Yu-Gi-Oh one, all right? But I asked that guy, hey, you didn't buy this, are you sure? Even though the eBay rep said that this guy for sure bought it. He said, no. What do you mean? I didn't even know about this. Bro, I swear, I never felt so done dirty, bro. I swear on God. I was very, very sad. Because this as well means so much to me, and the Japanese guy, I feel like he's just gonna resell it. Bro. And now it's already a couple of months ago, but man, I was so sad, bro. I swear.
He still has these
because I trusted that guy, you know? I don't know, bro.
In their possessions, but with most forums being completely in Japanese, it was very hard to search for. Of course, I couldn't find it even after searching the depths of the internet. So I think it's safe to say that this game is gone and very much lost. A cool relic to be left behind in the Counter-Strike Museum.
It's also
clear that this game left a lasting impact on those who actually got to experience it. And while its ending was sad, there was really no other way it could have gone. I have a pretty quick channel announcement, so wait up if you can. I recently got told to cease the use of all the old little cat pictures I would use in my videos by the copyright owners, which is why I had to change my profile picture and have been using new critters in this video. I'm essentially forced to rebrand, so I think this is a good opportunity to make a very cool new mascot or character, especially one that I could market without the risk of a cease and desist.
That looks nice.
Just stay tuned for the next video for what I've got in store, because I've got a lot of cool plans for the future of this channel. Yeah, subscribe please. And hey, get some gamer subs using code GOLDECK as well. As always, subscribe and like this video if you liked it, and if you didn't like it, go and leave a comment why, and I'll
CC
try
copyright
to do
strike,
next time.
Damn, dude, random small cat picture. Boys, what a video, no? Did I fucking promise too much? Nine. What a fucking video. Lovely, lovely. Something that you had no idea about. A game that you fucking think you know everything about. Wow. CS Arcade Machines. What the fuck? Where you swipe a card with your saved status. That's insane. Leave Goldeck some love. Leave him a sub, drop the button, ring the bell, ding ding.